The morning sun stretched slowly across the small wooden house, slipping through the curtains like a quiet whisper. In the corner of the kitchen, something unusual was happening. A small orange cat stood on two legs, not playing, not climbing, cooking. Her name was Mimi, and today she had a mission. Mimi carefully tied a tiny cloth around her neck like an apron. Her whiskers twitched with focus as she looked at the empty kitchen table. 3 bowls, all empty. Her family was still asleep, her kittens hungry. Mimi turned toward the counter, too high. She paused, then jumped. Missed. She landed softly, shook herself and tried again. This time she made it. On the counter were simple ingredients: a small bag of rice, a cracked egg, some vegetables left from the day before. Not much, but enough if she did it right. Mimi pushed the rice bag closer with her paw. It slipped, almost fell. She caught it just in time. Her heart raced, but she didn't stop. She grabbed a small pot, dragging it slowly across the counter. It scraped loudly. She froze. Silence. No one woke up. Good. Mimi turned the stove knob with both paws. Click! Click! Then a small flame appeared. She stepped back, startled for a moment, then nodded to herself. She had done this before, but today mattered more. She poured water into the pot. Too much. It spilled over. She panicked, quickly pushing the pot back. Water dripped onto the floor, but she kept going. She poured the rice in. Some fell outside. She scooped it back in, grain by grain. Nothing would be wasted, not today. As the rice began to cook, Mimi turned to the vegetables. A carrot, half an onion. She grabbed a tiny knife. Too heavy. She struggled, but managed to press it down. Slice. Slow. Careful. Slice. Her paws weren't made for this, but her determination was. Suddenly, footsteps. Mimi froze. Her ears perked up, her tail stiff. She quickly ducked behind the pot. Silence again. It was just the house settling. She exhaled. Back to work. She cracked the egg. It didn't go well. The shell broke unevenly, bits falling into the bowl. She stared at it, then sighed, and carefully removed the shells one by one. Patience. That's what this needed. The smell of cooking rice began to fill the room. Warm, comforting, like home. Mimi stirred the pot with a wooden spoon. Too big. She leaned her whole body into it, mixing slowly. The spoon slipped, almost falling in. She grabbed it just in time. Her paws were shaking now, not from fear, from effort. But she didn't stop. She added the vegetables, then the egg. Stirred everything together. The mixture sizzled softly. Outside the kitchen, a small kitten stirred in its sleep. Its tiny stomach growled. Back inside, Mimi tasted the food. She paused, tilted her head, then nodded. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. Now came the hardest part, serving it. She carefully turned off the stove. The flame disappeared. Mimi grabbed a small bowl, then another, then the third. She placed them on the table one by one. Each movement slow, precise, important. She climbed back onto the counter and pushed the pot toward the edge. Too far, it tipped. She lunged forward, catching it just before it fell. Her heart pounded. That would have been everything. Gone. Carefully. She began serving. Scoop. Into the first bowl. Scoop. Into the second. Scoop. Into the third. Steam rose from the bowls like soft clouds. The kitchen smelled alive. Mimi stepped back, looked at the table. 3 full bowls after all that struggle. She did it. Then, a sound. Soft footsteps. Her kittens appeared at the doorway. Small, sleepy, curious. They stopped. Their noses twitched. They smelled the food. They looked at Mimi. She stood there, tired, but proud. The smallest kitten walked forward first. Slowly, carefully, as if it didn't believe what it was seeing. It reached the table, peeked into the bowl, then looked back at Mimi. Mimi nodded gently. The The kitten took a bite, paused. Then, its eyes lit up. The other kittens rushed forward. They climbed onto the chairs, the table, anywhere they could reach. Soon, the room was filled with the sound of happy eating. Soft purring, little paws tapping, warmth. Mimi sat down. Finally, she watched them eat. Every bite they took made the long morning worth it. One kitten walked over. Food still on its face. It nuzzled against her. Mimi closed her eyes. For a moment, she allowed herself to rest, but then she stood again, because tomorrow she would do it all over again. Not because she had to, but because she loved them. And sometimes, love looks like a small cat, standing in a kitchen, cooking with everything she has, so her family never goes hungry. The sun climbed higher, the kitchen glowed brighter, and for the first time that day, Mimi smiled.